Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are here again for Touch a Cell with Tony and the gang, the online edition. And I'm sure you've been having a great time over the past 2 weeks that we've started this third season. Today, we are bringing another topic that is very significant to people living with sickle cell, and that is about our reproductive health, pregnancy and childbirth in the context of sickle cell. Today, we have a wonderful guest, but before I let you know our guest, let's go to have the adventure of Baba Shukura.
Mr. Anifowoshi, I have been calling your number for months now, and you have refused to pick up. So I decided to check your file to get your house address and come and see you today. I heard you are about to marry Shade and that she's pregnant too. Congratulations.
Doctor, wetin I go take do you alejo?
No, don't worry. I just came to see you and congratulate you. How are you? How you dey? I expect, say, as your wife to be don't get belle now, we go to see her for health center regularly. Abi?
Let me tell her not to come to hospital. Our mothers then, na ile wey our mother dey born us. So we sef no suppose dey allow Oyibo people dey deceive us, collect all our money, our local tradition sef na correct.
I know, say our tradition are correct, Mr. Anifowoshi. Our local medicine is very effective. In fact, when I did school, they learn about this Oloyibo medicine. I study small about traditional medicine as well. And I know, say, it work.
So, you believe me,
Me too, I be African like you now. I look like Oyibo to you.
No. How?
Our herbs and leaves, they work. Shebi na go, you say your wife, they sell.
Yes.
You know they work?
They work well.
Oh, you see now? Now our forefathers do them and then get sense well. You see, but the only thing we say for African medicine, we still never get how to take measure how so that people no go they overuse them. And if they overuse them, it go get adverse effect for their body. Also, nobody they regulate these people properly so that anything with them do, nobody feel confirm whether it they okay or it no they okay. That is why government encourage everybody to the go proper hospital for medical issues, not our local places.
You make sense, ja? But even the money where I don't spend for Babatao place for the past 5 months, on top this belle matter and sacrifice, don't pass house rent for 1 year.
Sacrifice?
Babatao say bad things dey my front. Now sacrifice go clear am.
Mr. Anifowoshi, I don't intend to convince you against local spiritual help, alright? But please, just come to the health center. Make her do proper checkup for your wife to be. She need them.
Okay, how much?
See, the good thing be say, government don't subsidize most of the services so that now shaking money you go even pay. Some pregnant women where they do antenatal for our health center, some no even pay reach 10,000 naira since they don't start. And some where don't born already, just between 10,000 and 20,000 naira they don't pay so far.
It be like say now that your health center I go carry and come be that too. I be the thing say it is very expensive to come born here.
Well, actually, some hospitals they expensive. But mostly, health centers, they're very cheap. And the services, they don't step up. I go encourage you, make you carry and come for a checkup. Where is she now? Is she at home?
That one. She go down, go tell her, go for tarmac. She's strong, eh? I never see that kind of woman before.
Wow. African women are strong indeed. But please, let her come in and see me tomorrow.
Shadi, what happened?
Oh, don't worry me.
Madam, are your husband with this? Congratulations, oh. Before we go gather her come up for road, your wife don't born. Thank God say we get midwife for area.
Hey, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
So why didn't you guys just take her straight to the hospital? And she just gave birth. We need to check the baby and the mother.
She said she must reach house to see her husband. I never see this kind of strong woman before.
Hey, wait. Now, waiting my baby be. Eh? Boy or girl?
Don't worry me. Rasuku seka. Above for you, baby girl.
Congratulations. But Mr. Nifoshi, please, let's get her to the hospital right away, please.
Oh, no problem.
And we are back. Let's now know who our guest is. Our guest today is Dr. Njideka Sanya. Dr. Sanya is a public health physician with interest in program management, health research, health promotion, healthcare quality and training. Passionate about quality improvement in healthcare, especially promoting the same in the public healthcare space in underprivileged communities. Njideka is an enthusiastic community volunteer, and I can affirm that because she is one of our most passionate doctor volunteers on our Extra Care free medical clinic. By the way, Extra Care clinic is our monthly intervention, is our bridge for people living with sickle cell and the hospital. And that healthcare scheme has been playing a lifesaver role in the life of people living with sickle cell. I'm sure you'd like to be part of helping us get that into other places. Let's bring on Dr. Njideka. Good evening, Dr. Njideka.
Good evening. Hi, Yomi. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, it's awesome to have you again. Now, this is the first time I'm having you on Touch Itself. I've been seeing you on Extra Care, but this is Touch Itself. So let me give you a warm clap. Woo!
It's my total pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
All right, that's how we roll on Touch Itself. We are jolly good fellows here. All right, so Touch Itself is our platform for education, for information, and everything that everybody needs to know about sickle cell. But we also pride ourselves as a myth-busting show.
I like that.
So there has been a lot of myths surrounding pregnancy and childbirth in people living with sickle cell. They say things like they say. That's what they say. Now tell us, females living with sickle cell, can they get pregnant? And can they take that pregnancy full time? Let's start from there.
Okay, thank you very much. So, myth busting. Can females living with sickle cell disease get pregnant? Yes. Simple answer. No, there's nothing to, as you know, how would I put it? There's no extra thing. Can you get pregnant? Yes, you can. So it is not true that if someone is living with sickle cell disease, a female, automatically means she cannot get pregnant. That's not true at all. Okay. Now, then the second part of your question is, can she carry the baby to term? Yes, she can carry the baby to term. So a female, I'll say it again, who is living with sickle cell disease can get pregnant and can carry her baby to term.
Wow, awesome. Thank you very much for quashing that myth. Now, the next myth that we would like to talk about is, and this one, it has very huge religious background. You know those ones that got every big foundation, those ones. So this one is called the Hebrew women phenomenon, that every woman who goes into pregnancy must go through vaginal delivery. So our question would be, females living with sickle cell who are now pregnant, can they give birth through vaginal delivery? And what are those things surrounding this?
Okay, so like you said, in fact, that this one it concerns everybody, it concerns everything, you know. The issue, I mean, this is a lot of a Nigerian thing, but the issue of delivering like the Hebrew women, which is a way of saying that people say they want to have a vaginal delivery, and it almost seems like someone who does not have a vaginal delivery, who has a cesarean section, you know, that's a problem, or it's a bad thing, or it is a sin, you know, or it is abnormal, or it's a sign that something is wrong with a woman. So first of all, for every woman who is pregnant, there is no normal or abnormal mode of delivery. The aim of being pregnant, as in the goal, is to have a healthy baby at the end of the 9 months, or in some cases a little less than that period. Okay, now how the baby is delivered exactly depends on a number of factors, and the how the baby is delivered, as long as the method through which the baby is delivered is the one that will give us what we want, a healthy mother and a healthy baby or babies at the end of the day. I would say that it is something that we should be grateful for, that we are at a point, you know, in science and in the world where we have options. It is no different from having an option for any other health or any other thing. So for example, something happens to you and you fall, or you hit your leg somewhere and you break a leg. If your leg is broken, there was a time that the only solution is that you get wrapper or rope and tie it, maybe put a stick there, and then we'll all just hope and pray that you don't bleed out, or that the bone will join together straight, you know, which might happen, which might not happen. But anyhow, we just manage it like that because we did not have options. Now we have better options. Nobody will break a leg and just say, let me just tie it with rope, the way I would tie my biro if it breaks. You won't do that. You will go to a hospital, and at the hospital, you will have options. Somebody will do an x-ray. After the x-ray, they will say, oh, look how the leg is broken. It's just a crack. There's no problem. Let us put a POP on it. Or someone will say, we'll use our hands to put it back together a bit and then put a POP on it. Or, oh, it's a complicated crack. There are pieces. This one needs an operation. You wouldn't say to anybody who broke a leg and had to have an operation that you are less than a human being, or you are less than do you understand? You say your leg is, you don't have strong leg. You won't say that to anybody because, okay, you chose the best option. So it's the same thing. Now, for someone who is living with sickle cell disease, your doctor, whom you'll be working with closely, will advise based on your peculiar situation, same as everybody else, on whether are you able to have a vaginal delivery? Is it best for you to have a cesarean section? Is it going to be a plant? I mean, if there's an emergency, we won't say, even though, you know, we need this baby to come out now so that mommy and baby can be healthy, then we'll now come and start bringing out that Hebrew women leg to the matter and just complicate issues. So for women living with sickle cell disease, as with every woman who is pregnant, you should deliver your baby in the safest possible and available method for you and the baby. Full stop. Everything else is a myth and is wrong and is dangerous.
Wow. That's awesome. Now, Dr. Sanya, let's talk about antenatal care. How important is it for a pregnant woman, whoever is, whether it lives with sickle cell or not?
Now, antenatal care is important for everybody. Okay? Most cases, in most pregnancies, that's the truth. Most pregnancies go smoothly, you know. Everything just happens as you expect, the baby grows, but it doesn't happen for all. And in some cases, you are able to say, oh, this person or this group of people might have more challenges, which is why we have what we call high-risk pregnancies. A high-risk pregnancy is a pregnancy where there, because of some other factors, either in the mother or even in the baby, okay, there is a higher chance that there will be challenges or issues that can create problems, like I had said earlier, for the mother and the baby. In pregnancy, we always want to, what is the goal? What do you really want? At the end of the day, baby should grow well, and baby should be delivered healthy, and mommy too should be okay at the end of the day, so that we can continue the journey. I mean, pregnancy is the beginning of like 120 years of somebody's life, so the road is still far, you know. So let's just get this one over smoothly. So antenatal care is important for everyone, but for someone who is a high-risk pregnancy, like anyone who is living with sickle cell disease, then antenatal care becomes like doubly important. You have to make sure that you register. Number one, register early, okay? If you are living with sickle cell disease and you are pregnant, you know, it's not a good time to say, they normally register at 20 weeks. You know you are pregnant today. Tomorrow like this, you should already be thinking, when am I going to, do you understand? When am I going to register? When am I going to see a doctor? When am I going to get checked out? Register early. And the other thing is register as much as possible in a place that is properly equipped. In Nigeria, preferably a tertiary center. So like a teaching hospital or a general hospital, you know, or just somewhere that you know that you have access to the kind of care that you need. You need an obstetrician, I mean, obviously, because it's a pregnancy, but you need an obstetrician, preferably who has some experience in managing this kind of high-risk pregnancies. And I want to say it again, I keep saying this, you know, so that we understand that it's not, don't think of it as, oh, it's because I have sickle cell disease. That's the way it works for everyone. There are some facilities that there's a specific kind of high-risk pregnancy that the facility will say, oh, we would rather refer you to somewhere else, you know, because we want you to be with someone that has the right expertise. So it's the same thing. Now, why a teaching hospital? Because you can easily have access to an obstetrician, you can easily have access to a hematologist. We know that with sickle cell disease, hematologist, anything having to do with blood, you want your hematologist on your team available to help make those decisions, you know, about your drugs, you know, and things like that, you know. Another thing is that because it's a high-risk pregnancy, you're likely to be seen more often than everyone else. You know, so this is not the one there. Auntie Kelechi, she used to go every 4 weeks. That Auntie Kelechi is facing her, running her race. You let us everybody face your own, face your own antenatal. Exactly. So if your doctor says, I'm going to see you every 2 weeks, please be available. If your doctor says, you have to come back next week, we want to check this again, you know, we want to, you know, change your drugs, you know, things like that, so that at the end of the day, the process is not so harsh on you. Pregnancy can be stressful for everybody, you know, and then when you are living with sickle cell disease, it's almost like we're introducing a higher stress. You might have a higher risk of having crisis, you know, and things like that. You might have a higher risk of infections. We want to keep a close watch on the baby, make sure the baby is growing well. That's why all those repeated antenatal visits and everything is in place, just so that you're able to get the best care. And at the end of the journey, remember, mommy is happy and healthy. Baby is also happy and healthy.
That's cool. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So now let's talk about the day of delivery itself. What should we have in place? Can someone living with sickle cell, can they try a nurse that is just next door, a traditional birth attendant somewhere? Oh, we don't have money, we have to manage this thing. What do you think about things like that? Then bringing husbands and the mother-in-law, because I know they play a major role in these things. How do you marry all these things?
Okay, so the day of delivery. To the glory of God, pregnancy has advanced, everything has gone well, and it is now time for delivery. Now, I think the first thing so first of all, let me answer your first question. Do you do the nurse near our house, the TBA? The answer in Nigeria, and honestly, in most places in the world, as far as I'm concerned, is no. Okay. Why? Because for the same reason of everything that we have said before now, it is a high risk pregnancy, because it's a high risk pregnancy. So there are so many potential complications that can arise during delivery. Okay. I mentioned that in pregnancy, someone who is living with sickle cell disease, person might be at a higher risk of high blood pressure. Person is also at a higher risk of something called preeclampsia, which is still related to the blood pressure. Now, all of these things, with delivery, you don't want to be where, number one, you cannot be fully monitored for all these things. Two, where if complications arise from any of these, there is no available solution. It is almost like taking something that is delicate, and giving it away. It's a delicate process. It involves a lot of expertise to be sure that everyone is okay. You would not give your 2-year-old daughter, for example, a glass plate to play with, no matter how much she cries for it, how much you love her, and she's so sweet and nice, because she's 2. A glass plate is delicate. It can break, destroying the plate. It can break into pieces, so there'll be pieces of glass. She can get cut, she can bleed. You wouldn't do that. So in the same way, this delicate process of delivery, you want it handled by a professional in a professional location. Even if, let us say, the person, the TBA or the nurse at home knows what to do. For example, this woman is bleeding. She needs a blood transfusion now. Will she have blood transfusion? Will she have the blood? Will she have the monitor? Will she have everything available in your house? Do you really want to put yourself at that risk? So that's why the answer is no. And I will say that, I'm not being unrealistic, to just say, go to tertiary hospital. I know it involves payment and you do have to pay, but just think of it as, from the beginning of the journey, let's outline what the issue is. I need to go to a tertiary hospital. I don't have money to pay. Where can I get support from? Who can I reach out to? Yeah. There's SAMI, there are other NGOs. What can I do? Because, God forbid, someone ends up in that situation where it's on the day of delivery. There are issues with mommy. There are issues with baby. Nobody will just sit down there and look. Ultimately, what's going to happen? They will stand up and say, let us run to the hospital. Money will still have to come out. So there's something I say sometimes that, it's better to do something in peacetime than in wartime. If you can choose peacetime. So if we're looking for money, it's easier to look for money from the beginning of antenatal. We are planning, we're joining up together, than saying, no, please, I will just go to my neighbor. And then all that work for all those months, God forbid, gets into emergency. Then we are still looking for money. We are now calling uncle and auntie, what can we do? So that's why we say no. Please.
Awesome.
And register.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Sanya. Let me allow you 1 minute to go and get water while we have this break. Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
They say a child born with sickle cell can live beyond the age of 21. They say sickle cell is a death sentence. They say they can't hold a job or run a successful business, that they can live a healthy, productive life. They say. But is this true? Join Tony and the gang on the Touch As You Show.
You know why I asked Dr. Sanya to go and get water earlier? For people living with sickle cell, and even for you who are not living with sickle cell, water is life. So go and drink water now.
Drink water, right. Everybody, drink water.
Dr. Sanya, let's look at now the child is here, taking care of the child. Breastfeeding, what role does it play in the life of a newborn? Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so breastfeeding is very important. It's like what we should all aim for, and plan to do as much as it is possible. There are situations where breastfeeding can be challenging for one reason or the other, or some health situations, where we say, okay, it's better, not to breastfeed. But as much as it is possible, that should be our aim, that should be our goal, to breastfeed. Breastfeeding is an amazing process. Breastfeeding is one of those things that you say, wow, the body is really, really, really like a very complex, and very interesting thing, So with breastfeeding is the body's way of providing the exact food that the baby needs, at least for the first 6 months. The exact, it is amazing to know that breast milk is particular for each baby. So if you have 3 mothers who all have babies, and you take the breast milk from each mother and you examine it like under the microscope and stuff, and you analyze it, you find out that it's not exactly the same thing, and each milk is tailored to what that particular baby actually needs at that point in time. Okay, so breast milk contains all the nutrients. It contains antibodies, from the mom, which means that if there are infections and diseases that the mom has already developed, the mom is already protected against, her body has already developed resistance against, she has passed it to her baby automatically. So baby is automatically protected, So as babies, weight goes up and down, the breast milk adjusts, to do that. So all the nutrients, everything the baby needs to grow, everything is contained in breast milk. That is why we would say, WHO says it, exclusive breastfeeding is the best for a baby for the first 6 months. That's why the baby does not even need water, because I know that, because we say water is life, we always have this argument that, how can somebody not drink water for 6 months? If it's you, that I will die if I don't drink water for 6 months, because I'm not a baby. But if I'm a newborn baby, I don't need what and why we say don't drink water really, it's just because baby doesn't need the water, and a baby's stomach is very small. So that water you're putting in now, it is now occupying the space that this our precious breast milk would have stayed.
Right.
So that is why. So breastfeeding extremely important, as much as possible, as much as you're able to get it done.
All right, great. Now, Dr. Sanya, let's quickly add this to it. Now, when the mother now, she's taking care of the baby, and then we have this husband and mother-in-law relationship that comes with it all through the process, the day of delivery, what you should eat, what you should not eat, and all those things. Those guys are stakeholders, and we need to know how to manage them. What are those practical tips that you would want to give to anyone who is in that position? Please, I want you to just help us in that regard.
Okay, so I think the first thing that I would say is one of the challenges, with this daddy saying one thing, mother-in-law saying a thing, is really a lack of knowledge, because people say, this one I do, this one I know, these are ways to do it, and they are so sure that the one I know is the correct one, and everything might just be nonsense. So the first thing is making that information available, For example, with the fact that we're having this program at all in the first place, what are we doing? We're pushing out, information. We're getting information out there, and not just getting information out there, but making it as practical, and as easy as possible. So these are things that, should be talked about, should be mentioned, should be explained, should be broken down. And then as we're passing information, we try to look at the context, the cultural context, So these mother-in-laws now that are saying that, is in our family, they don't used to do CS. You understand what I mean? So we want to come at them back and say, okay, in your family, they don't do CS. You know why? Oh yeah, let's check. Let's go and check. Let's go ask your mommy and your mommy's mommy. How many people got pregnant and did not make it in pregnancy? Do you know? Go and ask, is there no auntie? How many people died because they didn't have, that option? Things like that. Say, okay, she's very lazy. Oh yeah, come and see all these people that did CS, and can you see, do they look lazy to you? Things like that. Try to come back at them, from that, pushing out the information. Another thing really that helps a lot is actually empowering the woman herself with information. We find that many times, people are better able to stand their ground when they are well informed, when they do know that this thing that you have been telling me since, is not like that. I've found out, I'm going to find out, and I found out that is actually, so they are better able to stand their ground. And eventually, they either get people to come around to their own side, or even if you don't agree with me, Jao, but we are not going to do it like that, because I know and I'm sure of what I know. So things like the extra care clinic, for example, where you have people coming together and you are getting health information, so something like that is empowering, because I know that me and Iya Kelechi, sorry for whoever Kelechi is, me and Iya Kelechi, we are in the same, group, and we have, and they told us this. Iya Kelechi has told me this is her own experience, so that kind of thing. So I know that I can have this information, I can stand, my ground. So that's another thing. And then for I think in terms for health professionals, being aware of this and doing our best. I know it's not always easy, especially if you work in a busy center or clinic, but just doing our best to engage these people as well. It can be stressful because sometimes it's like you are talking, and this is, you always want to pull out your hair that this thing I'm saying, do you want to harm your wife, do you want to harm your child, but you just have to, as much as possible, try to engage. And I think that even trying to support, like health professionals trying to support groups, let me put it that way. So if you have a support group, for example, for maybe women who are pregnant, women who are living with sickle cell disease who are pregnant, health professionals backing it up, anybody that's coming to get that information, because the person sees that a health professional or a hospital or an organization or a ministry of health is backing it up, that tells the person, for these whole people to be supporting this information, maybe I should take another look, and that's one of the things that helps to turn them around. And
correct. We shouldn't get tired. We should just keep doing it.
Just continue doing it.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sanya, for this amazing opportunity to draw from your wealth of experience and your expertise.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, and we hope that we'll be able to bring you again and again to Touch a Cell online show, and even when our radio show starts. Hopefully.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's my pleasure and
thank you very much, man.
Yes, for everyone who's listening, Sami, they are doing an amazing. I mean, you guys are amazing. You are doing so much, supporting so many people. Changing outcomes. Like raising the bar. For so many people. So I'm going to say to everyone who is listening, Sami, they're doing a lot of work, so everybody come and put hand now and let's get involved.
Yes,
let's change
it. It's
doable.
Let's go for Sickle Cell Community News.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome to the Touch a Cell Sickle Cell Community News. On the news today, new blood stem cell roadmap may help advance SCD treatments. Sami joins the coalition of sickle cell NGOs to squash a bill in Senate. Now, the news in full. A team of researchers has created the most comprehensive atlas, or roadmap, to date each step of human blood stem cell development, thus helping them identify the previously unknown molecular signature of blood stem cells and ending a long-standing debate on these cells' specific cellular origin. The data, which is open to the public through an online cell atlas, is expected to help scientists generate fully functional blood stem cells in the lab. That's a task that, according to the team, has so far been difficult to attain and is crucial for developing blood stem cell transplant-based therapies. The new atlas may consequently help expand treatment options for sickle cell disease, SCD, and other inherited blood disorders, as well as for blood cancers. The University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, College, revealed this in a university press release. Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, SAMI, joined a coalition of other NGOs to squash a bill at a public reading in the Senate. In the bill tagged Sickle Cell Disease Research and Treatment Center, 2022 bill, the coalition thought that rather than recreate a new center, the existing zonal centers in 6 geopolitical zones should instead be strengthened and made fully sustainable, with the components of the proposed research and treatment center being infused into them. These zonal centers, it was recommended, could in turn be focused on consistently providing capacity building programs, research findings and resources to the medical workers in the different teaching hospitals and primary healthcare centers within the geopolitical zones. The Health Committee consequently agreed that having such a bill will replicate matters, so it would not be necessary. The bill was subsequently squashed. And that is the end of this week's Touch a Cell Sickle Cell Community News. If you have any sickle cell news you will like us to air, do contact us through any of our social media handles at SAMIUPDATE. Stay tuned for the concluding part of our talk.
We hope you had a great time with Dr. Njideka Sanya earlier during the talk segment, and you absolutely enjoyed the adventures of Baba Shukura. Wow, these are amazing, amazing people. We cannot but say thank you for joining us today. This is a powerful show. We've learned a lot about pregnancy, about childbirth, for people living with sickle cell. To cap it up, I would say that this is Touch a Cell show with Tony and the gang, the online edition. Now, if you have questions, if you have inquiries, if you have comments that you want to make as to what you have heard today, please drop them on the comment section and we are sure to get back to you with answers. We are here for you, and you can also follow us across all social media platforms at SAMIUPDATE, SAMI Update, and follow us. Check us up on our website. Our website is www.sicklecelladvocacy.org. www.sicklecelladvocacy.org. This program has been brought to you by Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative. We are a non-governmental organization based here in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, to be precise. We celebrate you, and we hope that you will join us again next week for another powerful edition of Touch a Cell with Tony and the gang. Bye.